Hey everybody, it's JW with Sober Militia Podcast and xstopwriting.com. I'm joined here today with Tracy, who I'm very excited to have a conversation with about her sobriety and her journey. We've been talking for a little while now, and finally we're able to put it together and get together and have a conversation. So Tracy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tracy with Sexy is Sober.
Yeah, so we kind of met through Instagram and just kind of talking back and forth with some of the posts that were happening. And I remember you caught my attention because you were doing something very different. And I do a lot of photography myself, so it caught my eye because what you're doing is based around some images rather than, blogs and podcasts, which a lot of people are doing. And so we kind of just started talking, and I really like and appreciate what you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit more about where that started? How did it come up?
Thank you. Yes, so I am definitely a creative, and I love photography. I became sober about 6 months ago. I was sober 2 years before that, and thought I could drink again. So during my first time being sober, I had Sexy is Sober in mind. But when I started drinking again, of course, I could not do that. However, about 6 months ago, I took this photo of myself and I was like, I look pretty, and I wanted to post that somewhere. So Sexy is Sober started on Instagram with that picture.
Nice. And we'll look at a few of those here in a few minutes. So you said, how long have you been sober at this point?
6 months.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm about a year, so I'm not that far ahead of you. Yeah. It's been a great journey. Yeah.
Yes, it has. Yeah. And that was really the importance of Sexy is Sober, is I wanted to celebrate the love, joy, and sexiness that sobriety brings to life.
Yeah, because it's more about, like you said, I like the joy piece of that. But it is more about just finding, happiness and finding where you fit and what works for you and what kind of gets you going, right? And that's what it's obvious in what you're doing that you are expressing yourself in that way. And it's really fun to kind of see, and you can definitely see how you've evolved through the time that you've been doing the photos and images.
Thank you. Yes. And it's been wonderful to share this process with all of you and with you, John. Absolutely.
Well, and obviously you have a good following already, so that's it says a lot, right?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
very excited
And so,
with that.
and then you're thinking you're going to be doing a website. You said that might be coming up here soon.
Yes.
And what will that look like? What are you planning on doing with that?
Sure. The website will actually, it'll have some of the photos. I definitely like the Sexy is Sober is blank is you. So, what I want to do is show other soberists and celebrate them and for the lives that they're living and the stories that they're sharing and experiences. Absolutely.
Cool.
Maybe also have some articles on there specifically about the positivity that sobriety can bring to life, and of course the sexiness.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like the positivity piece is so important. I found that when I quit drinking, I didn't really know much about what was going on in the sober community. I kind of just did it on my own and kind of found my own way. But when I started getting into the community, I started realizing that there is a lot of negativity happening out there. And I don't mean that against anybody. It's just that the rhetoric that you hear often revolves around negative connotations, right? How difficult, how hard, I can't do it, all these kind of things, right? Instead of let's just focus on the good stuff. And that's what I've tried to do in my, with my blog and my podcast and everything. And that's one of the reasons I was drawn to you, because as well as your images, you do these quotes all the time, or not even quotes. Well, they're quotes of you, right? They're your quotes that are inspirational.
Thank you so much. Yes, I do look up some of them and then I add my little spin to it to make it about sobriety. But yes.
And that makes it fun. Yeah, it really does. Yeah. I like it a lot. Good.
Yeah, I want to make people smile. I have a heart that is big and wanting to share, and love means so much to me. So, it's a good opportunity to have my personality out there and just to have fun with it.
Yeah, and just expressing yourself in any way, I think, is a positive thing, right? When you're going through a major change or.
Absolutely, and it's really amazing that I found it here. I never thought I would. I've been a creative all my life. I had a business. I made invitations, announcements, and for a living for many years, and that was my creative outlet and my passion. And when I didn't have that anymore, I mean, it's taken me about 10 years to find it. And I was really worried I would not be able to find that being sober. You know, I mean, a lot of times we drink to loosen up, everything like that. But no, I mean, through sobriety, it's amazing. It's challenging, it's creative, and I'm really enjoying it. So.
Yeah. I found the exact same thing with writing, because I had written a lot when I was younger, and I'd put it away for, almost a decade, for personal reasons, and when I quit drinking, I decided to start writing again, which was odd because, everybody talks about the idea of like Hemingway saying that, write drunk and edit sober, which he never said, by the way. But, you hear about that stuff, right? And I found that when I started writing sober on day one, that everything just kind of opened up, creativity. I kept thinking I'm going to run out of things to say. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're kind of thinking that. Am I going to have enough images to keep this going? Am I going to be able to come up with enough ideas?
Well, yes, and that's why I alternate between pictures and quotes, because I knew I was going to run out of content. However, I mean, as I'm going through this journey and recovery and getting stronger and more confident every day, it's just, and that's I'm excited, and that's part of the challenge of it. So that's what really excites me too.
Yeah, good. It is. It's a lot of fun. And I think that each time you come up with something really new, you know what I mean? That's like, that kind of feeds that confidence and that level that you're trying to get to all the time, So,
yeah. And especially to see people respond to it. That's really the pleasure where it comes from. And that they get it, because that's, I can take these pictures all day, but to hit the post button, that's where I need to be brave and just, and maybe somebody doesn't get it, and that's okay. But for those that do, and it's for me as well. And so that's it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's you're vulnerable, right? I mean, writing's the same way. And my partner and I talk a lot about it. She's incredibly critical from a writing standpoint, which has been great for me because it's helped me grow a lot. Yes. But there's times, where you'll put something out there and you feel pretty good about it, but you either get no response or maybe a little bit of a negative response, and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? But you learn from it, right?
Yes. And that's funny because I do these photo shoots, and I get ready and I, pay the photographer, and we go out and we take some photos. And then the one that I take in my, loft, just because I need to post something or I'm feeling it, and, and it's just, that one gets the most hits. And it's just really, it's funny, but it's wonderful at the same time. So
it's so interesting, right? Because you never know what's going to connect with someone.
No, you never do. So I'm just happy awesome. To have found this community on Instagram. I never knew it existed. And from day one, I mean, it's just been such a positive force in my life and in my recovery process. So I'm super excited, and it's fun. There's some really amazing people out there.
Yeah, and I think I imagine I kind of picture you, traveling too. Once all this COVID stuff's over, where you could travel to destinations maybe and do those kind of photo sets and stuff too. It would be neat.
Absolutely, yes, and that's what I would love to do eventually is to travel. My daughter lives in Europe. My sister lives in the Middle East, and just to be able to travel with my phone, laptop, and to do Sexy Sober would be amazing.
That's cool. Well, I hope that works out for you. I really do.
Thank you.
That's my whole goal too. When I quit drinking and started writing, I made a decision that I'm going to write professionally. So that's where I'm at. We'll see what happens, but that's what I'm trying to do.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah. So let me, I'm going to go ahead and show your Instagram, and, if you see a photo that you'd like to talk about, maybe give us some background, because what you were telling me is that a lot of your photos have more of a point to them than just being a sexy photo, right? So you're trying to tell a little bit of a story. So maybe kind of stop me and point out a few that you may want to add a little bit to, okay?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Hold on one sec here. Okay, so this is your Instagram. I went all the way down to the bottom, so we're at the bottom of your Instagram right now.
You did. You can see where that started. Yeah, and my first photo there, that's before I even was coming, saying Sexy is Sober is this. And that was the picture that really just made, I wanted to post it. I was about 2 weeks in my sobriety. I looked pretty, and I was like, I want to do this. So that was my first picture, putting myself out there. to the Instagram community.
Well, and it says a lot too, right? Because it's not even about whether you look pretty or not, but you felt pretty.
That's
And
right.
my experience, when you're drinking or using whatever your addiction is, a lot of times you just don't feel good about yourself, no matter what other people think, right?
Absolutely.
But in this instant, you felt it, right? And that's
did.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
love
wanted
that.
to be. I think that one says I want to be, be the person you want to be around.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So yes, absolutely.
Which is a big part of sobriety, right? Because we often find that once we become sober, we may lose some of our friends that we used to have around us, right? So we got to find people that are going to fit our lifestyles now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I'll just kind of scroll through, give people some ideas. Here's, I love these little sayings that you kind of play with and do some wordplay on. That can be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you can see where I'm growing into my, red color. I wanted to start branding with red. Worked with my daughter on that. Picked a font that I wanted to be consistent with as well. And then, and I was using photographs from local photographers that I really loved, and they inspired me while I was starting to collect content. Because you just can't take so many pictures of yourself.
Yeah,
and that was pretty
right.
new to me as well. It was like nobody
For
wants
sure.
to just see me up there, all the time. So that's where you can see this evolving into something. And another thing that I really told myself was, one post a day. That's what I wanted to do. So just a post a day, Tracy. Whether you want to or not, just do it. And that's something I have done and very proud of.
Yeah, and you're doing great with it. I like how you're doing every other one. I like the way that shows up on your page when you kind of scroll through it. It looks really together, and neat.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very organized. Yeah. And then so you'd pointed out a couple. I'll just kind of scroll through here a little bit because I know there's a few that you wanted to talk about. Let's see, where were they? Just stop me if I come across something. So here's the one with the stairs.
Yeah, so that one is, so that was the steps. So you'll notice in a couple of my photographs, I show steps, and that's because I'm in a 12-step recovery program that I wanted to incorporate that into my sobriety and into my path, in recovery. So that's why you see sometimes a set of stairs. And yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Cool. All right. This is another one.
Yeah. So that was
Whoops.
one where, I was doing my step work and, it was just letting go. And allow, and just starting to be free and finding that higher power to help me, to be sober and to remain sober.
Yeah.
And be happy.
It's a great picture. Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
Just letting yourself
slide it over.
right?
I don't know if you're able to slide it over, but that's pretty fun too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think sober is freedom, is faith.
That's great. Love that. I love that picture right there with the arms out and the sun in the background and the clouds. That's really pretty.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun to do as well. And there was a little picture to the left, so that was pretty risque, but we got away with it. Yeah.
That's great. All right. And then let's see. The other one I thought was really, I liked your idea behind was with the umbrellas. And well, this one here I think is important too, because you talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, so this is Sexy as Sober is Lady as Boss. And I believe that this picture really shows how my confidence is building in my sobriety. And how, I was just out with a girlfriend and I was like, and she took this photo of me. So just felt really good that night. Had fun, and which is something that I think we are worried about when we stop drinking. And it's been such part of the social scene. But I have found in my sobriety, and especially going out to events and things like that, I feel empowered. So I can have fun without those things to help me do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that was going through my head too. When we're talking about this, is the idea that people do talk about sobriety being boring, or are people going to like me? Am I going to have any fun? And all these things that go through people's head. And I've written a lot about this because it is a big deal. But I like that what you're showing is it doesn't have to be that way. It's like, just go out and be you, find things that are fun and do things that are fun. I mean, just watching you on the beach here, jumping for joy and running and playing. It's just like, that's what we need to put out there as a positive stigma, if you will, rather than so much of the negative that we hear about all the time.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And then this is the one I was talking about. So I love the idea behind this one.
Yeah, so this is Sexy is Sober, is Staying is Dry. And the umbrella concept was actually presented to me by a friend. And then my daughter from Europe, I know this place locally, but she saw it as well and sent it to me. And so it was so wonderful to collaborate and to see my family and my friends be a part of this. I used Rakim, here, a local photographer, and we went out one morning. It was cloudy. It was a perfect day for this shoot. And I loved the trench coat idea, and it really turned out to be a wonderful picture. So I was very excited about that.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I love the the umbrellas in the background, the different colors. I mean, that's really fun. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I actually like this one too. It's just, it's a similar idea with the umbrella, and I just think it's nice and it's classy. I love the brick wall. Did you have any thoughts behind this one?
Yeah. So, again, this was our shoot from that same morning. And,
same day. Okay.
And this is more, and I want my photographers that I use to actually, put themselves into it as well. So that's the artistic and the creative side. And I come to them because I trust them, and I'm inspired by them. So I'm excited to see what they're going to get from this as well. And they're learning too about sobriety during all this. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, Rakim took this one, and then, I get the photos back and I look at them like, okay, well, how can I, incorporate this into Sexy is Sober? And so this one was Sexy is Sober is looking is forward, and just saying, maybe right now the weather's not too good or it's a little turbulent out, but clear skies are ahead.
And I could even read into that a little bit if you were thinking about, if it was raining, right? And you were, most people would try to hide themselves from that, but kind of taking the umbrella down and just saying, screw it, I'm just going to let it be what it is, right? And just let the rain. And I kind of like that idea too.
Yeah, I love it.
Good. Awesome. Well, I don't want to go too far into this. I know I really appreciate your time, and I don't want to take too much of your time. But Tracy, one of the things that I have appreciated a lot is when I first met you, we talked on the phone. So we met through Instagram, and then we had a phone conversation. And you're just so positive about everything, and including me. You didn't know me from Adam, and you were just welcomed me in and to a conversation. And then we talked about having this video cast and maybe even doing some photo shoots together. And I appreciated your openness to all that. But more than anything, I do appreciate your positivity. I think it's much needed in the sober community. And no matter how you do it, right? That's what I love about this. So I'm trying to do it through writing. You're doing it through photography. I'd love to meet somebody who's doing it through music, whatever, and just keep those positive juices flowing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, I think you were the one that wrote positivity is a catalyst for growth.
Yes,
So,
I did write that.
Which I took from you as well. So, no, this has been really wonderful. This is my first podcast, so I appreciate it so much, John. And it's been lovely meeting you as well.
Yeah, for sure. And, hopefully we can do it again as you start to grow and become, more out into the community, and maybe we can share, collaborate in different ways. It'd be fun.
I think we already are starting to think about
it. We kind of doing that, aren't we? Yeah. Well, tell us how to find you. I mean, I know Instagram is that the only place right now?
Yeah. So yes, at sexy_is_sober, and my email address is there as well. You can always DM me, and then I'm currently working on my website, and that will be www.sexyisober.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck with your ventures.
Well, I appreciate that so much. And right back at you, John. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.